Hello, hello, Tau fans. A wonderful afternoon to all of you, or whatever damn time it is, anywhere you are in the world. We are here today to do a little bit of cooking. I hope you all enjoyed the thumbnail that I cooked up. I know it's not stick figures, and they are the peak of artistic expression, but you know, I will get to stick figures eventually. I just don't have the budget for stick figures to be you know, like a viable thing for me to do. Now, as you may have worked out, now I'm going to turn off the Slay the Streamer stuff because that doesn't need to be up here. As you would have seen, we are going to be trying to cook up some Mont'ka stuff. There was a, I finished recording yesterday or the day before a breakdown of every single Tau detachment, and that is in my editing software, and we're working towards that. But it really, like, when I was going through the Mont'ka part, I really got nostalgic for the release of the Tau Codex. Everybody was like, fuck, we've had to play Khao Yon for like 6 to 7 months at that point. I am just so looking forward to anything else, and Mont'ka was always my favorite, because, you know, I'm a bit of an aggressive fella, you know, I love me some killing blow, in-game, kind of in-game. Anyway, to everybody joining us, watching this as a VOD, welcome. I am going to take this opportunity to do 2 things. So, first and foremost, thank you to every single one of my patrons who make all of my videos possible. If you would like to join us in the Discord and get access to a bunch of behind-the-scenes content, including pictures and videos of my son being hyper cute, then have a look at YouTube membership or the Patreon down below. If you'd like dedicated coaching from me, consider the Join the Pantheon tier, where you get hours and hours and hours of my time, including a game against me every single month, and support the channel in a massive, massive way. The second thing that I want to do is recognize the channel sponsor, who we had our Pantheon Team order come in today. One of the first things I did with a sponsorship opportunity, moving on from IF and then picking up a new sponsor, was to make sure that the players of the Pantheon would benefit. Now, we are going to be doing a Pantheon pickup day. It's a little bit of a social thing, and you're also going to have your first properly filmed introductions for any of the members of the Pantheon that, you know, want to be a part of content. I don't force anybody to do it. But I baked into the contract of that sponsorship that twice a year, my players would be able to order at cost. That means that they only pay what a retailer pays to GW to get their product. And that is a monster saving. And that stuff has come in, and I'm proud to say I am now the proud owner of some Swooping Hawks. I got my last set of Howling Banshees, and all of it at a disgustingly low price, which is why I love R&R. They are offering, at the moment, use code Pantheon, 26% off GW pricing to all of you beautiful people. And I love this business quite a lot. They have been incredibly good to me. Details of that will be coming out in future videos. But that is all of my plugging. Go and support R&R. It directly benefits me. And you get yourself some shit for like really cheap. Anyway, enough of the plugging. What we are going to be doing is going through some Mont'ka stuff. Now, I did get out of the first list that auto loads into new recruit. I don't know why it's this 103rd Airborne div, which was something that one of my patrons sent me when we were doing some coaching, but it like auto loads that every single time, and I don't know why. Let's get into cooking some Mont'ka, because cooking is one of my favorite things. Actually, one of the most quoted things that I've done on stream is, "Let me cook!" And that was around the Tide Walls, where, you know, we first had Mont'ka come out, which another reason why I was feeling super goddamn nostalgic. So let's create a list and let's see what we can do. Now, one bonus thing that I'm going to do, because I'm in a really good mood, is there was a list that was posted in the Discord. I'll bring that up just in our list help channel. It was a list that was posted, and I kind of loved the concept. It's you know, to his own admission, a bit of a meme, but Dubsy chucked this into our list help section. Experimental prototype card. Let's just call it Porkan. Let's just call it what it is. It's Porkan. It's Porkan. Nobody's calling it experimental prototype. It's Porkan. There's an Ethereal as the only leader. He's gone for 2-man squads of broadsides so that he doesn't pay the, what is it, like fucking 20-point tax or whatever for taking a 3-man over a 2-man. or the tax for taking a full-size unit, which we are one of the few armies in the game that are having to pay. He's gone for high-yield missile pods, heavy rails, and heavy rails. So we've got some missile pods coming out. We got some rails. We got triple Ghost Keel with 2 Fusion Colliders and a Cyclic Ion Raker. We've got double Pathfinder. We got triple Riptide with Ions. Notice that he's gone for a shitload of twin SMS. Like a metric fuck ton of twin SMS. And I've actually said on stream a number of times that like that SMS spam, I think in Borkan actually does do work, especially in the part of the game that is MSU heavy at the moment. We need to be hitting stuff over the side of walls, but you don't dip your toes. You have to hard fucking commit if you're going to do it. So he is hard committed, and I respect it. So you've got the SMS on the Riptides, you get the SMS on the Broadsides. Ghost Keels obviously can't take it. Boo, Ghost Keels, that's an L. And then triple Stealth Suits. Now, one of the things when you look at it is like another borderline meme list. Got the boys to run it, let you know how it goes, blah, 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 which power to him. Let's see. One of the things that I want to use as sort of like a baseline concept isn't this list specifically, but it's the idea of having a Tau army that is nothing but 2-up armor saves. Doesn't that sound kind of fucking nuts? Your opponent has to get through a bunch of 2-up armor saves. And if they're speccing for MSU and you bring out a bunch of 2-up armor big suits in a detachment where you can get -1 to wound and you can heal, that becomes a pretty nasty prospect, right? Like if obviously their las cannons and shit like that'll be wounding on would-be 3s going to 4s, which is pretty bad to start. But then you've got any of the random shit, like let's say you pair another Tau player who's playing a normal list and he throws some missile sides into you or some fire knives with missiles or plasma. That Riptide is getting wounded on 6s. 6s. Oh, wait, no, you can't use it unless it's higher than your strength. So you won't be doing that. But it means that you're not being wounded on anything better than 4s unless it's a railgun coming at you, which is like, that's not bad. That's not bad. I kind of want to fuck with some big suits. So shout out to Dubsy chucking that one in. It actually gave me a little bit to ruminate on and think about. But yeah, so let's go. Oh, wait, I just put in 2 detachments. It auto loads. So let's go Strike Force. Let's start with Mont'ka and then we'll look at like a big suits list. So Mont'ka, what are the things that we are looking at in this to build around? Now, let's look at current iteration of the game. Now, we could go through, and you know what? I'm going to catch up with chat because like Twitch has been fucking cycling. YouTube L, nobody wants to talk to me on YouTube. Stop cooking when I'm at work, damn it. I do it just for you, Bill. I do it just for you. I'm not allowed to make jokes about giving a killing blow in a taken man's chat. Take it? Wait, what? I've been taken? Am I not here? Am I real? Yeah, these also awesome railgun emotes. You do. You get Mally Pog emotes. I'm actually going to spam some of those right now just so our little YouTube Ellas can see those. Look at that. Look at that shit. Look at those little Mallies coming up above my head. Look at that. Fucking pogging out. Sarah actually used those before, but you know what? I'm not going to acknowledge that. I did it first. Funny you decided to talk about Mont'ka today. I decided to play my last 3 games with it after not using it since the Grotman's Detachment released. That is cool. That is cool. I do like to, you know, follow the trend. I'm a meta chaser at heart. Speaking Sarah, very excited to randomly one-tap a suit commander with the precision melter. Yo, Master, how you doing? Good to see you. Breacherfish still forced to do work. Well, not forced to. They get to. They get to. They want to. You know. So let's get into the cook. What I want to do is in the current space of the metagame, not trying to predict the new pack that we've got coming out. Everything has gone to mass MSU, and that represents a pretty big opportunity for us to use Mont'ka to punish that MSU, especially if we don't run into somebody who's just spamming transports all over the place. But even if they do spam transports, there's a lot of work that we can do to try and fuck them up. Now, what I want to highlight, and I'm going to bring up Wahapedia, because GW doesn't have a web thing that I can go to show off their rules, which, like, you know, whatever. Okay, so we are going Tau Empire, Mont'ka. What are the facets that we're trying to work around right now? The first is that in the first, second, third battle rounds, Tau Empire models have Assault. Notice that's Tau Empire. That's not excluding Kroot. That's not excluding Vespid. That is all Tau Empire. Have Assault. During the first, second, and third battle rounds, while unit is guided, its ranged weapons have lethal hits. Now, I really do think that GW could do us a favor and make it so it's not just guided, it's everybody has lethals. Just to alleviate some of the pressures. If they're not going to change our army rule, then at least do that. It would make Mont'ka so much more viable. Then let's look at the enhancements that we might look at building around. We've got, while the unit is an observer unit, until the end of the phase, ranged weapons in their guided unit have sustained hits 1 while targeting their spotted unit. Now, the big use case for this is that you've got a stratagem within Mont'ka, which is... where are you? Focus fire. So, 2 Tau Empire units from your army that's not been selected shit that phase. Note it doesn't say like non-Kroot, no whatever. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in either of your units makes an attack, you can only target that enemy unit. And when resolving that attack, improve the armor penetration characteristic by 1. So, this used to be that it was just your commanders and your Cadre Fireblades. And both were good options because their units could take marker lights. Now, we had ethereals in the last balanced data slate get the for the greater good keyword ability. That allows them to guide. And ethereals aren't shooting at anything. They don't have fucking guns. That opens up that an ethereal could absolutely... Let's say, for example, if we look at a devilfish. Now, let me cook. If we look at a devilfish, it has a capacity of how many models? 12. 12 Tau Empire infantry. Ethereals are Tau Empire infantry. We only need 11 slots for a Fireblade and a Breacher Fish. So you could have a disconnected ethereal sitting in the devilfish. Let me cook! A disconnected ethereal sitting inside the devilfish with a fully loaded breacher unit. They get out of the other side of a wall, and that complete package has your ethereal guiding for that breacher unit with that enhancement, and that one and done package then becomes all that stronger because you're not committing a second unit of effective fire into the same target that you might end up overkilling with the breaches. It just gives them flat out extra AP on their attacks. AP2 pulse blasters. They're little shotguns. All for a commitment of an extra 50 points. No, sorry, to be 70 points. Coordinated exploitation. Now, it does mean that they don't have marker light, but if cover isn't coming up as a thing, marker light doesn't matter. If you can wholly see your opponent or they don't have models wholly within terrain, then that doesn't matter. And if you do need ignore cover, then that is functionally just the same as having AP1 blasters, but you could just go, all right, I'll commit a unit of stealth suits to do that. Now, I'm not always saying that that particular cook is the way to go, or that it's so supremely powerful that you're going to do it all over the place. But it does actually represent a thing that we can do with coordinated exploitation that we couldn't do before and that nobody was considering. And I've loved it, played it nonstop after the Codex release, and it was a blast to go back to my roots. Fuck yeah, Loopy, that's awesome. That is fucking awesome. Feels a little aloof with your ethereal not getting to generate CP as long as it's in the fish, though. Well, if we consider that we might have other ethereals elsewhere, and, you know, the big downside of this, and this is where, like, it's a cook, and it's trying to find where it might work. It means that we're locking up Farsight, and Farsight is really good in the Mont'ka detachment. One, for the CP cost reduction for his unit, giving auto advance or whatever else, and it also then starts to benefit, you know, he already has assault from the detachment rule, which is one of the main reasons why we never wanted to take Farsight before, because getting him up the board was so much worse than just taking a cold start. It was just strictly worse. This represents that if you don't want to include Farsight in the list, you can have an Ethereal sitting in Strat Reserve and also have an Ethereal inside a Devilfish, neither of which targetable by indirect or just getting randomly punked out, and you've still got that role for the CP. Does that make sense? Charlie says, hi, Charlie. How you doing? Actually, Charlie, I do need to chat to you. So I'll reach out to you after the stream. Is a Mont'ka his playstyle enemy? He is the exemplar of the Mont'ka. Like, putting an enhancement on somebody is, we have Farsight at home. Like, Farsight is 100% this, just not the actual rule. We have Exemplar of the Mont'ka, which you can have a unit during the 4th battle round. This could be okay. Like, if you got 10 points left over, there is no reason not to take this. Strat Conqueror, a Tau Empire model for 15 points. While a friendly Tau Empire model is within range of an objective and the bearer's on the battlefield, add 1 to friendly model's OC characteristic. And then we've got Strike Swiftly. Now, this is the premier enhancement that you will, like, take Mont'ka for. Or you will always take Mont'ka. I actually think this one's an auto-include. Don't at me. This one is just, like, non-negotiable, in my opinion. Tau Empire model, at the start of the battle, before any moves are made using Scouts, select up to 2 friendly Tau Empire units within 6 of the bearer that do not have the Scout's ability. Until the end of the battle, all models in the selected units have Scout 6. Now, one of the big things that changed from the last time we were talking about this, when I first, became famous for screaming, "Let me cook" at people. I didn't become famous from that. That's not true. I was talking about the Tide Walls, and a big problem with that cook is that it was then ruled at the World Championship of Warhammer that in a game between John Lennon and Manny Chima, and I say as much in my detachment review that's going to be coming out very, very soon, that no model could move further than its movement characteristic by an ability that would give it a further movement characteristic afterwards. That has since changed. That was updated in the last balanced data slate, or the data slate before that, that a model can move more than its movement characteristic if a rule allows it to move by a value set out in the rule. So in terms of this one, we can use this on broadsides, they go the full 6. We can use this on tide walls, they can go the full 6. It opens up a few options for us to be able to make other units that aren't normally as good a little bit better. And this is where, when we start actually properly cooking the list, I might actually be genuinely looking at the missile sides, because one of the things that I don't like about the missile sides is that a fire knife unit just does it better. A fire knife unit just strictly does it better, moves faster, doesn't really, like, it actually arguably has more tank, though I guess, no, that's pretty hard to quantify, because you've got, like, a 2-up armor save, and then you've got defense against mortal wounds and all that sort of stuff. But, like, for what I want them for, which is the damage output and the movement, fire knives just do it better. But Mont'ka is the detachment where broadsides legitimately have the mobility to be great. 100%. 100%. And I go through this in that detachment review. I actually was just editing this section before, which has inspired this stream. That, you've got a broadside unit that's scouting 6, moving 5, for a CP auto advance 6, you've got a broadside unit going 17 inches on the first turn, especially if you go first. That is fucking wild. That is wild that a unit that tanky with just as good a damage output as a fire knife unit without the reroll hits, but if they're guided, they're hitting on 3s, use stealth suits, they're rerolling 1s. Yes, it's not as good as full rerolls, and you don't get the same benefit in things like, Overwatch and whatever else, but they've twin-linked on those Strength 7 missiles, which means that you are generally getting more wounds through. Strike Swiftly is just fantastic. So looking at all of that, that's our enhancements, that's our detachment rule. Then we've got pinpoint counteroffensive, units destroyed, that unit has full rerolls to hit against it for the rest of the game. That can be incredibly powerful. Combat debarkation, Tau infantry unit that disembarked from a transport, full rerolls to wound. Now, what is the use case for this? It strikes, which I'm not going to take, because why the fuck would I? I actually had an idea just the other day, and let me cook. there has been a lot of discussion about fixing strikes and put them in a position where they're competitive with breaches, because strikes aren't bad in terms of a data sheet or whatever. They, in terms of opportunity costs, just lose out to all the other things that they have to compete with in the same slot. Breaches do more damage, Kroot have more utility and are cheaper, and so strikes are just sitting there with their dick in their hand being like, okay, cool, I guess I'll head off to the go fuck myself store and pick up something nice. I had an idea. Out of all of the ideas that have been pitched, what if we just increase the damage of their pulse rifles by 1? Just damage 2 pulse rifles. They're still AP 0, so people get good saves against them. You could get AP with the focus fire stratagem, which could bump them up in Mont'ka, which they desperately need. It makes them better in Oxcad. What if we just made their weapons damage 2? We have no other infantry that has damage 2 shooting outside of a Kroot rifle. And if a Kroot rifle on the leader of the, what are they, the long quills, if they can be damage 2, why the fuck not a long-ass pulse rifle? You know what I mean? Like, thoughts, chat? Because I genuinely think that would make me include strikes in my list. Yes, my love? Oh, of course. All right, Chelsea's sick of listening to my voice because she hates me. I'm just going to close the door. That's all right. That's all right. I don't like it either. Oh. All right, and if anyone's wondering, why does Jay have a big-ass U-pillow on his... in front of him, I've actually started doing this, and it's been very, very comfy because I need to have like Mally sitting on me, and it's just such a fuck around to like have to go and get it and put it back on, and have to go and get it, put it back on. It's actually just really nice, like resting my elbows and shit. So I just keep it here because then Mally can come in on a moment's notice. And I know that sounds like excuses, and you're thinking right now, Jay, you've said some weird shit on stream, and you're not wrong. And so you're thinking this is a weird thing, and I'm not going to say anything and just let you think whatever you want. Okay? We good? We square? You know what I mean? I love how you just assume pulse carbines don't exist. How could you do this to carbine strikes, Jay? How could you? Well, you can make it a data sheet ability. So you can take the carbines, or you can take the pulse rifles. But having said that, I you know what? No, I'm going to walk that back. It should be a pulse rifle thing. Like, carbines should be a CQC assault weapon that has that baked into it because that's the benefit for it. Now, yes, that doesn't benefit you in Mont'ka, but it does in the 4th and 5th battle round. And then the choice then to take the pulse rifles is I am going to get more damage per wound, but I'm not going to be as fast. It's more of it. That is the thing with long rifles. They are used for stationary combat. Like, I have a bit of a skewed view because the main weapon that the Australian Army uses is the Steyr. And the Steyr is a bullpup. It is technically a long arm, but it's not a long rifle. It is kind of a middle between the two. But anytime that we had to use anything which was like actually a long rifle, you didn't want to be fucking assaulting with that. And if you did have to assault with it, before you would ever fire it and waste a round, you would go to ground, position yourself, get stable, and then you would fire a round. And when that round hit, it would fucking decimate something. That should be the point of a long arm weapon. So the carbine, 1 damage, sure. The little shotguns, they're pellets that you're shooting at somebody, but you're getting full rerolls to wound. And so it kind of makes sense that that's your like very close range CQC weapon. And then you've got the long arm, which each shot is doing 2 damage, which is a decent hit. It's long range fire, so it doesn't innately have AP. Strength 5 is absolutely fine. Like, that in my eyes would make strikes a hell of a lot better than where they are now in terms of opportunity cost. But anyway. So this is for breaches that are shooting at something that isn't standing on an objective, or if they are standing on an objective, you don't have to spend a CP. Give strikes if they die on an objective, and that objective gets sticky ability. I think the Jackals get access to. That also I can fuck with. That I can fuck with as well. Pulsarize even have a charge up time from Dawn of War, and they do tons of damage. So it makes sense to have less shots but more damage, and obviously have carbines have More shots, less damage per shot. I mean, honestly, I think carbines are in a fine place. Having a fast-moving unit with carbines is absolutely fine. I think that it's the pulse rifles that you look at them and go, I can take breaches or I can take Kroot and do one side of the spectrum better than you. You don't offer me anything that like I can't get from something else. Plus 1 to wound if they remain stationary. I think that just bumps up both carbines and pulse rifles. And GW has very clearly shown that they only want to go with keywords. But anyway, moving on. Aggressive mobility, auto advance 6, incredibly powerful. Pulse onslaught, you'll never use. It's 2 CP. Why the fuck is this 2 CP? GW, genuinely. Focus fire, which we'll be using a lot. And then opponent shooting phase, Tower Empire units. Until the end of the phase, the attack suffers -1 damage. Now, if I were looking at like a big suits list, like that same thing that I was talking about with the Borkan cook that Dubsy had, this could actually be decent because if you're on nothing but 2-up armor saves and then you -1 damage, that can make them even harder to kill. Though I do think the big suits list is way, way better in Borkan because of the -1 to wound. I think that just strictly outpaces it. -1 to wound and a heal. Counterfire defense systems we can use for the broadsides. So that's broadly what we're looking at. This is the scope of how do we make Montka efficiently work. And one thing I should have said at the start of the stream, and I'm sure that somebody like post this is watching the VOD and they're already typing out, oh, well, there are people that have already made Montka work and done well at taunts. I know. What I am talking about is not that it can't work, but putting my own spin on it. And not just blindly following somebody else's list, but looking at what would I want to use in this, especially for the Australian meta. Because I don't think anybody can point out a list that has used Montka and done insanely well within Australia. And each country's meta is a little bit different. There are people that in every army making their army work at a competitive level anyway. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And this is actually something that I was looking at. It has been so hard for me not to make a fucking shit-eating grin, tongue-in-cheek, but also I'm kind of like, right, video. After I put out a video saying, GW, please fix Tower. And I had some very unkind responses from people in the community or even like high-level Tower players. And then it comes out the Tower is the second worst army in the game at 40% win rate. And then Reddit becomes a sea of people complaining about the army and wondering why nothing is getting fixed. And I'm sitting here like, well, I put out a video saying we need change and you shit on it. You taught GW that you don't want change. Don't slap a hand trying to help you and then say, oh yeah, but like we need something. It has been so hard for me to not make a well kind of video. But anyway, let's get into what I want to do with this. So the first thing we need to work out is, do we want to take an ethereal or do we want to go Farsight? I love the idea of going with my cook on devastate, whatever it is, giving sustained hits to a guided unit. But I think we can do that with a Fireblade. I love Farsight. And I really want to take him in this. So we're going to do that. We're going to go Fireblades because we are going to go Breacher Fish. Now, the question then becomes, what else are we throwing in? So I'm going to go with some of the mandatory units that I want. And then we're going to build up from there. So Stealth Suits, Vespid. We are going to... I kind of want to throw Rampages in. Even though we don't have advance and charge. I think they are usable, but I'm gonna hold on that for just a second. I do want to go a broadside unit. I'm gonna build that out. I want to have some missile sides. So high yield missile pod. We're gonna go. Do I want to ignore hit modifiers or do I want to have a seeker missile? We're definitely going the twin SMS. I think I want to ignore hit modifiers because these guys aren't going to be filling an anti-tank role. And unfortunately, there are just way too many goddamn hit modifiers in the game at the moment. High yield missile pod, weapon support system, and twin SMS. Now, there'll be a theme here that I want to lean into the Twin SMS because there is a ton of MSU and there are some very, very good Eldar players down here. So I want to work as hard as I can against those players. Vespid, I'm just going to go for a 2-man for now. Stealth Suits, Battlesuit Support System, Marker and a Shield, and Fusion Blaster. Then we're going to go Triplicate, because of course we are. Semi-automatic grenade launcher. Double shield drone on the leader. I kind of want to try out because the gun drones, I think I'll have other measures of output. It kind of tickles me when they shoot at me, them having to get through 3 wounds of a Pathfinder leader before they actually get to kill him. Because I've had Pathfinders either only just die or have one dude live on a wound. If I can kill off one dude and save 3 guys' lives, I think that's pretty fucking awesome. I'm going to go the recon drone. I am going to go 6, and I'm going to go ions because lethal hits, and that'll be a Pathfinder squad. Breaches, as always, the Chassis is going to take Guardian drone and a gun drone. Fireblade, double gun drone. Cool. I don't know if I want Farsight as my Warlord yet. This only really factors in for secret missions. We need to make sure that our Warlord is somebody that is going to be able to complete things like go to your opponent's home objective, which is inarguably easier on a cold star. All right, so I'm going to start with, at a minimum, double Breacher Fish. Devilfish, we're going smart missile systems. We have assault for the turns that it's going to matter, so we don't need the gun drones. We want the SMS to lean into that. And then we're going to go double Devilfish, and we're going to go double Fireblade. Now, you remember I said earlier that a Toasted Maple, how are you doing? What did I miss? Just joined. A bit of talk about the list I'm going to be writing after this on stream, just a concept that was in the Discord, and just going through all of Montka's stuff just to set the stage for what we're going to be building around and what options we've got. So you haven't really missed a ton. Though there has been some interesting conversations. When the VOD comes out, just like go back and watch that. Though I guess you're on YouTube, you can always just scroll back and you know, not watch completely live, but yeah, you can always watch it again afterwards. All right, so we have to consider, what are we using for Strike Swiftly? Now, we could look at chucking that on a Cold Star, because he will always be on the battlefield. The big problem that you've got is a Fireblade in a Devilfish cannot give this out, because people in transports cannot interact with any rules that do not specifically state that a unit can be targeted with X thing even while this unit is embarked within a transport. You can see that on like Astra Militarum, that sort of stuff. They've baked in those rules. Everybody else, no, fuck you. Any hope for missile sides? I think they're kind of goofy. Missile sides have already thrown into this list. I was actually saying that's one of the big things that you might have missed is that I was saying about the reversal of the ruling from the 2023 World Championship of Warhammer. Was it 2023 or was it 2024? I can't remember. Anyway, the game between John Lennon and Manny Chima. They reversed the decision the unit can't move more than its movement value with the rule. Broadsides get full value out of the scout move from Strike Swiftly, which means that they go, what did I say it was? 16 inches first turn? 17. It was 17 inches in the first turn, which is pretty good. So I'm going to try them out. We're going to see how we go. Now, a Cold Star, that would then factor in that I'm going to be running... I mean, I've got Farsight, so at the very least, I'm going to be running a unit of suits. The question is, do I want to add in a second unit of suits? And this begs the question of, with the missile side unit in, do we want to go the Fire Knives? The Fire Knives do have play. Both Plasma and Missile are fine. The Plasma not in Borkan at 18 inches kind of fucking sucks. Assault does get around that a little bit, but it already kind of sucked when we had access to Cold Stars. So I don't think anything changes. I could put in an Enforcer for lower points cost, but I do like my Crisis Suits having base 12-inch move. Then we've got Starsides and Sun Forges. Now, Starsides on Commander Farsight, a bunch of burst cannons with +1 to wound and lethal hits means that a lot of stuff is getting through. You're at AP1, you can go to AP2 with a stratagem. So that is interesting to think about. Sunforge is the biggest points investment. For 150 points, I think in this detachment, I would rather just go for like a Skyray, Hammerhead, or even like, get some of the points for the ghost kill, or maybe even go a 2-man unit of broadsides, because those are able to use the rail rifles quite effectively. Now, clicking that automatically put him in. So if I were to go with that, missiles, Seeker, Twin SMS, we add in a Chassis and we do the same thing. This does give us access to a little bit more Twin SMS, and like the broadside one is very good. 4 attack, strength 5, twin linked indirect. Ignoring hit modifiers means that we are just going to be on 4s. So there is an argument for this being our dedicated anti-tank. And then having other things like, the breaches with lethal hits can take down fucking anything. What does that put us at in terms of the list? That puts us at 1540 points. So if I don't want to go the Cold Star, I've then got 550 points left over for me to play around with. I've got mission play in the Vespids, the Stealth Suits, and the Pathfinders. I've got my turn 2 point of contact with the breaches. I 100% think that I want to throw in Piranhas. Now, this is usually the last thing I do. I'm going to chuck them in there knowing that I can take them out. But I love Piranhas in Mont'ka. 9-inch pre-game move, 14-inch move, as well as assault with the capacity to auto-advance them 6, means that you can get this down basically wherever you need. And with all, like this package, I might not need any more anti-tank, especially because we're getting ready for MSU. But one of the big things that I love Piranhas for is because if they're running transports, what better unit pops a transport? You know what I mean? If I may be a little cheeky, Jay, surprised you haven't mentioned the War Shaper tech of getting to use focus fire for free every turn while keeping the birds nice and safely zoning out deep strikers in the backfield. That is 100% a consideration. Now, I don't think that they'll be screening out backfield, because if we're going to be using that, especially the boards that I play on, it is never long sightline boards. It's like a WTC style. Australia's really picked up on like the WTC, like heavier boards where you've got to fight for angles. But that still works because a War Shaper, even just on his own running around, like a War Shaper, I'm fairly certain has a fucking scout move built into him, because generally all Kroot do. And he would brick his unit if he didn't. Yeah, Scout 7. He's got Infiltrator as well. So that is interesting. You could infiltrate a War Shaper and have him run over a wall and then be using that. I did, mention that with the Ethereal as well. But that could also be something. The question is, do I think I'm going to have to commit multiple units to a target in order to do that? So what are our options? We got Vespid that we can do that with. We've got Stealth Suits that we can do that with when they're guiding. And Stealth Suit shooting rarely matters. As a big point of clarity. Stealth Suit shooting rarely matters, at least in my games, because my order of operations with killing things is usually like quite good. And a Stealth Suit unit with burst cannons and a fusion could be nice to throw into a unit that a breach unit's just like wounded or whatever. Though I do think that there is an argument for making sure that we cover our bases in terms of that. Now, one thing that I want to point out is that we only have one set of infiltrators at the moment. Do I want to go harder? Because the other thing we could look at is the Trail Shaper tech that we were using a long, long time ago. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, that's you chuck in Trail Shaper, you give it Strike Swiftly. Or Strat Conqueror. You then can throw in a unit of Fast Stalkers. They screen out the entire, like basically the entire board if you get Defender. Going to go Tau Tech Rifle. We're going to go Fast Stalker with Firearm and Pekra. And then we're going to go a Vorite Skinner. So you do this and screen out the entire board. And then your Trail Shaper, which you've set up to give out Strike Swiftly, he's got a small base, so it's very easy to do, and put within multiple options like broadsides, like Devilfish, like whatever. And be able to pull them back. Now, the points investment that we're doing for that is 165, which is a bit like that is a full ghost kill just to have that. And at the moment, I haven't been finding that I've had any problems with infiltrators, because we do have, Pathfinder Stealth Suits, Fast Stalkers are just something that you can put there and you don't have to worry about where they're scout moving. You can cover off enormous sections of the board and then just pull them back with the Trail Shapers redeploy. Or even put them into Strike Reserve so you got something hanging over your opponent's head. Do I want that? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I do think that I want to lean into triple breaches. That puts us at 1915, and what's that? I just need a Warlord. Okay. That puts us at 1965. Do I like that? Beal, thank you for gifting Masu a sub. Enjoy the new emotes, bud. I love Piranhas in Mont'ka for that Judgment Token strat where they kill it because 7 wounds at T7 usually means they have to put a real damage unit in to take the Pariah unit out. That's interesting, Loopy. That sounds very much like a video that I put out when Mont'ka first came out. Almost word for word, if I might. I think great minds might think alike. So, yeah, I love Piranhas for the same. I think there's a lot that we can do with that. Now, the other thing that we could consider is taking this out for 160 points and just strictly using a Ghost Kill. This does give me the option of a lot of board control, like a lot of board control. We haven't, though, for Farsight, put in any suits whatsoever. I think we have to. I think we can't do this. If I want to run Farsight, I have to make sure that I've got a suit unit. So we are going to go. Now, the conversation between Fire Knife, Starsides, and Sunforges. What have I got in the list currently? I've got very, very good anti-infantry. I've got breaches, I've got SMS, I've got Pathfinders, I've got stealth suits, I've got missile sides, and I've got the Devilfish with smart missiles is also, like, pretty good. So I don't need anti-infantry, so Starsides are out. Fire Knives could be an interesting one because more damage 2 shooting is really, really nice. Or I could go for Plasmas, which give me damage 3 shooting. Damage 3 at the Strength 8, Lethal Hits, whatever, is really, really good because I'm seeing a lot of good Blood Angels players, and Sangard are annoying as shit. Though, generally speaking, if you want to kill Sangard, you want to have AP2, preferably AP3, so that when they pop Armor of Contempt, and they will, you've still got them on their invuln save, same as, like, Custodes. There are also some very good Custodes players, including player on my team, Adam, who's one of the best Custodes players in Australia in terms of rankings. You want to be able to kill their 3 wound models instantly. The problem with that is that the Plasmas just have so few shots. Though, Farsight does add to that in a way that, you know, his counterparts, it's kind of half of a Cold Star, basically. It is at 24, so you can shoot him a little better. But yeah, then you've also got the melee from it, which damage 3, crashing into them. I don't think they have fights first, so that is also an option to get rid of a unit like that. But working in tandem, like Breacher teams will still be able to pick them up. I've got broadsides. Now, the question is, do I have this as my long-range anti-tank, my long-range missiles, and go into something like Sunforges, going with Farsight? Can even use them as a rapid ingress strat. Farsight rapid ingresses for free using his ability, and then on your turn assaults up and is able to get in the middle of all the vehicles and everything else and shoot the crap out of them. You want to do it so that you don't have to advance, so you can charge afterwards, which this is a very, very good way to do that. That said, Plasmas with +1 to wound, I guess it's the same number of shots, but you're opting for reroll hits rather than reroll wounds and reroll damage, though Plasma don't need damage rerolls because it's flat. It is 20 points less, though. That just put in Fire Knives. I think because we've got the strat for reroll hits against units, means that, like, Sunforges might be in a position to have that. 200 points. And what would I use with the rest of it? If we go Sunforges, we got 50 points. We can't throw in an Ethereal. So that means we're looking at, like, Crude Hounds, maybe. If I go the Star Scythes, we have 90 points left, which is a unit of Rampages immediately. If I go Fire Knives, we got 70 points, which could be triple Piranha, which could be okay. Could be a squadron of 2 of them. Oh, you know something fucking cheeky as shit? What if I got rid of the broadsides and I doubled up the Piranhas? 2 squadrons of 2. I spoke about that in a previous stream. Then you've got a big package of anti-tank popping transports on the first turn or the second turn, whatever. You've got 2 T-77 wound bodies for them to get through. You've got better move blocking with their 2 sets of wings sitting next to each other in a lane. I think I don't mind that. And we are going for a cook. We're not going for like a standard ass Mont'ka list that everybody would be looking to run. Triple Breacher, Farsight with... There's a part of me that is thinking about Flamer Star Sides or Burst Cannon Star Sides with +1 to wound. Because those Burst Cannons with full rerolls to hit, it's a decent number of lethals. Add in the AP strat, and you've got AP2 Burst Cannons going through. You know what? I'm going to try that. We are seeing a ton more MSU, and that's exactly what I said that I wanted to tech against. So that's what we're doing. Marker and gun on the leader, because of course we do. For anybody who's not sure why I'm doing that, we don't want to give up max bring it down points. If you put a shield drone on the leader, because we are going shield and gun on the other 2 chassis. If we go that on the leader, it pushes the wounds characteristic over the point that you only give up 2 points and you give up 4 instead. I'm sure most Tau players know that at this point, but I'll just reiterate just in case there's anybody who's a little bit newer, which is coming into the stream and watching this. So if we've got these Star Scythes, we will then need one of the Fireblades with Strike Swiftly. Now, this could mean that we want to chuck in a second Pathfinder team to go in one of the Devilfish. You have a unit of breaches schlepping it up the field, which isn't so bad with, like, they have Assault already and you can auto-advance them 6, or you can do some leapfrog tactics where the Pathfinders get out and then you have the breaches move up and get into the transport, and then they're sitting safe and it allows them to go way further than they normally would be able to on their own. Pathfinders could be good, but then we can also start looking at our character options here. I have seen people using Fire Knife teams. Now, Farsight teams. I got Fire Knives on the brain. Farsight teams, this is 70 points of basically pure utility. Like, you can put them up somewhere, but if you put them up, you're not able to put Strike Swiftly on them, which is why I would consider them in the first place. Lone Op is nice, but I don't know that Farsight teams is the route I want to go down. We've got 150 points left. If I go the War Shaper tech, and I put Strike Swiftly on him, that's 1925 points. I think I also want a unit of Kroot Carnivores because Sticky Objectives is amazing. Sticky is amazing, and like, look at our list. We are going to be surging up the board at our opponent. We are going to be surging up. We basically have no long-range anti-tank fire, but that's fine because stuff is still going to die. Stuff is still going to die very, very, very quickly. Sticky Objectives. We got Vespid holding the backfield. It means that I don't have to have a Vespid model actually touching our home. And it puts us at 1990, which means we can also have a Fireblade just take Exemplar of the Mont'ka, and that will be the last Breacher Fish unit that is pushed out. Now, who the fuck is calling me? Apologies, I will need to mute for just a second. All right, sorry everybody. We are going through some messy shit. Toasted, have a good night. Thanks for joining us. Mid-tier mediocre. I don't know why I keep calling it a plasma ion. Yes, yeah. Well, I've misspoken a number of times during this stream, so it happens to the best of us. Not gonna lie, having flashbacks to early Knife, that could be a good thing. Let's be honest, Farsight getting close, go Sunforge. Well, the point of the stream, and like if you weren't here earlier mid-tier, I was talking about that the Australian meta has gone to very heavy MSU. And I'm not actually seeing a lot of tank units in the game. So I didn't actually want to go down that route. Now, one of the considerations that I actually have to make is that there is a player in Australia who is winning fucking everything, and he just got selected for Team Australia, Jordan McGregor, who is running War Dog spam. Or not War Dog spam, sorry, Armiger spam, because he's playing Imperial Knights, and he's doing very, very well with it. That is probably a list that this might struggle against if I don't have any anti-tank, and that is an argument for the Sunforgers. Though if I were going to go down that route, I would go a Cold Star and Enforcer so that I've got 4 Fusion Blasters on them, and then I can split fire and pick up 2 Armigers in a turn. But, yeah. Number 1 Elo in Australia, currently on Stature. Yeah, that would make sense. He's been winning fucking everything. You could also drop a broadside from the 3-man and run the 85-point fast talkers for screening out. I am going to stick to the meme a little bit. I do love the idea of the 3. Now, if we were to go down that route, let's entertain that idea. So we lose 2 shots from the missile drone that he's able to take, and then we've got high yield missile pods. We lose 6 attacks from that. Now, that saves us 120 points. That is an interesting question. Is 120 points worth 8 attacks, functionally? I don't know that it is. I wonder if I would want to go 2 2-mans instead. And then all I have to do is find 60 points in the budget. Right? And that would just be having a 2-man squad of piranhas and having a 1-man squad. Thoughts? And then, just because it's fucking hilarious, my War Shaper will be my Warlord. Actually, I can't do that against Imperial Knights players. I can't fucking do that against Imperial Knights players. That'll be such a throw. No, the change was when you had your other broadsides. Yeah, that's true. But I don't think I hate this. The 2-man broadside squad, that's 12 attacks from their normal stuff, which is a fire knife unit without a commander. And then you've got 2 missile pods, which is another 4 shots. So you got 16 shots, 12 of them twin linked. That's decent. And that also opens up that I've got an extra set of twin smart missiles. That is very, very, very decent. Right? Now, let's just double check. We got our ducks in a row in terms of... and actually, you know what? There is an argument for the War Shaper just being attached to the Kroot Carnivores and giving them stuff like Auto Advance 6 and then throwing him up there, and then when an enemy unit kills the War Shaper, him being like, cool, free reroll. Oh, no, wait, no, it's non-Kroot. It's non-Kroot. That won't work. But free Auto Advance 6 isn't bad. And then that also pairs into the free 2 units shoot at a target, gain -1 AP. That on the Kroot Carnivores guns, normally they're just shit that you don't care about, but AP 1 on them actually makes it kind of okay. Also makes a nice scary unit to soak damage. What, the 2-man? I think the 2 2-mans, like 2 up armor saves, you can lose one and not be completely fucked. Or since you're a good player, soak attention. Well, really, the broadsides will only be showing themselves when I'm ready for them to pop off and kill a unit. And like if they're dying in return, I have probably calculated that, and that's a part of the plan. But yeah, Sarah is the coolest looking weapon. I agree. So we've got a bunch of anti-infantry. Lethal hits means that we can still go into tankier targets. And like I've said this a bunch of times before, but Tau is not an army that just bang one tap, you're off my board. Like, yes, you can do that with a max roll on like a hammerhead into a vehicle without an invuln save. That's fine, but that's not always going to be the case. And there are plenty of things that have invuln saves. But we are an army that kills stuff by units working together. We are combined arms. Mont'ka is lethals when guided. Correct. So in that sort of a scheme, like we are going to be scoring out of our fucking mind with this list. We are going to score everything in the world. And that's how you win games. So if I can't kill somebody, I'm just going to swarm the board with a shitload of bodies, trickle them out, trade effectively, chip off the things that my opponent wants to use to hold objectives and whatever. I got a bunch of indirect for Eldari and Guard. And, yeah. I think this might be our Montka list. Now, what I'm going to do, chat, you might know this. I have been playing a 40k game mode of my own creating called Slay the Streamer. There are currently 2 VODs on Twitch. I've downloaded them. I'm chopping them up. They're going to be a nice to consume shorter video where it's only just the cool shit that's happening. But basically, chat tries to kill me. And they use a bunch of like the Twitch rewards and that sort of shit to let me show you. Let me show you. So this is my Twitch. If I go onto viewer rewards, channel points, we've got stuff like stealth on an enemy, -1 to movement or charge, -1 to hit, discard or draw a secondary card, no pile in and consolidate, give Mally a kiss, very important one. Mally is very important to kiss. Auto explode, flip a dice to a 1, -1 to wound, show some chest, very important. Give my weapons hazardous, add a keyword, lose a keyword, half OC, lose a CP, shadow in the warp, resurrect my opponent's unit from turn 4 onwards, show feat, very important. That'll like bring people to their knees. I think I'm going to play this list on Slay the Streamer. If my list can even come close to winning on Slay the Streamer, then I think we got ourselves something pretty fucking good. And I'm not looking at this and seeing massive issues outside of dedicated anti-tank, which at the moment, the meta hasn't been really big on. You either tech to beat Jordan and throw your tournament, or you play well in the tournament and then lose to Jordan, which, like, whatever. What are you going to do? This is the way of it. I promise you could have CP this time. No, do not promise me that. When we play Slay the Streamer, you need to fuck me over as hard as you can, as many times as you can. You need to be the opposite of Chelsea on my wedding night. Swap a unit of missile sides for railguns. That is something that we could look at doing. You know, the question, do I need 2 units of high yield missile pods? Because I can still go to the twin SMS, get rid of the weapon support system, and then I've got long range anti... You know what, Sarah? You're a fucking genius. You're a fucking genius. Can I get some jumping towel boys in the Twitch chat for Sarah? We are going to go heavy rails, seeker missile to an SMS. Heavy rail, seekers to an SMS. Fuck yeah. I actually do think I like that. I think that takes away one of the major weaknesses that I was looking at. We've still got excellent output. But more importantly, we've got a list that takes over the board, just absolutely fucking dominates primary and secondary. And as long as we don't throw and overcommit our shit, we'll still have stuff to play the rest of the game. I reckon I like that. So, for anybody that is wanting to use this list for themselves, let's go text, let's go short. There we are. That is our list on screen. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it into the YouTube description. Though, unfortunately, YouTube doesn't let me still look at chat when I'm editing the description. Montka List. Boom. All right, YouTubers, that is in the description for you right now. And while you're down there, might I suggest... Yeah, we plug in. You check out our sponsor, R&R Hobbies. Use code Pantheon. You get 26% off GW pricing. It is fucking insane. When you go onto their website, it'll say back order. That is perfectly normal. They're giving you that much of a saving because they don't buy up a shitload of stock that may or may not sell. They just order as you order it, and the turnaround time is still fantastic. We got our order just today. The Pantheon team is my stuff. I got me some Swooping Hawks and some Banshees. So we are living good. Thank you, R&R. Fucking love you. Jay, you want a meme list? You can look at my adjusted list. All right. Is this a I get to roast you? Is this a roast my list? Out of curiosity, how mean can I be when I roast this list? Because I have actually wanted to do a roast my list. I said I'd do it before Mally was born. And then just like when Chelsea got pregnant and everything, it just kind of fell to the wayside. And I'm really disappointed by that because I think a roast my list could be funny as fuck. And all of it is going to be tongue-in-cheek and none of it is going to be me actually picking somebody apart. It's just going to be like funny memes and haha. But somebody's obviously got to opt in for it. But I don't care. I'm still going to play it. Awesome. Awesome. All right, where am I looking for your list? Where am I looking? Okay, while Sarah's sending that to me, let's start on the second list that I said we were going to be doing. Another not going to lie, Breaches with Fireblade have been my best and most effective anti-tank. See by day for recent. Why mid-tier mediocre? Dude, honestly, you're not fucking wrong. Like, Breaches are a unit. I was actually saying this in the, I think it was the Slay the Streamer stream just the other night, that Breaches are a unit, and this is why I've made jokes that they are the most fuckable data sheet in our codex. Like, if you're going out, Breaches are the unit that Shadow Sun tells you not to worry about. Because, like, there is almost nothing in the game that can say, I am genuinely not scared of you when I'm standing on an objective. And in Mont'ka, you can just spend a CP and then you got full rerolls to win anyway. They're a unit that hits on 2s with stealth suits rerolls 1s, and then strength 6 means you're wounding most things on 5 that are really, really big targets. You know, your normal targets you're expecting to shoot at, even custodians, you're winning on 4s or 3s. And with full rerolls, you're getting most of that through. If you've got any sort of AP bump, which is why I love Mont'ka, Kalyon is nice once you get to that point in the game because they've got the turn 3 onwards restriction on the AP strat, which I hate. I really hate, but it can work. I just tend to use my Breaches as a second point of contact, so they're usually gone by the end of turn 2. And then Oxcad is like, I fucking love that detachment so much. You've got movement shenanigans with their Devilfish with interlocking maneuvers. You've got Kroot to crash in front, so you don't have to worry about losing your stuff too early. And then you've got AP just like at all times. Just AP2 Pulse Blasters at all fucking times with Ignore Cover. It's just like, Breaches are genuinely a unit that I think other armies look at and go, why the fuck doesn't my battle line look like that? It's just, yeah. All right, so what I want to do, I'm just going to copy my Protobork list because we're just going to do some changes and stuff. I'm going to call it Big Bork because anybody who was here at the start of the stream knows what's coming. They know what's coming. Okay. I still want my commanders with their prototype weapons. I really do. I'm going to try and find a way that I can keep my commanders with their prototype weapons. Because, like, otherwise, what's the fucking point? You know, like, just, All right, we're going to get rid of the Kroot. Now, the concept of the list, I'm going to start with Trip Kill Triptide. What we want to do is create a situation where our opponent has nothing but 2-up armor saves to go into, and they sit at the end of the table just like, I thought Tau was squishy. And we go, yeah, we were, but also fuck you. If there's one thing I love doing, it's fucking my opponent. All right, Iron Accelerator, missile drones. Twin Plasma is interesting. The Dubsy did go for the Twin SMS. I wonder if I want to go for just a strict front to back. No, you know what? Big Suit's being able to kill them from the other side of the wall is... Though, you take your weapon that's only 3 shots of indirect. The Riptide indirect is just not as good as other stuff that they could have. We got the Twin Plasma, or we could take the Twin Fusion. This at 18 inches is genuinely interesting, so I think I'm going to go the Twin Fusion. So that's 2,395 points. Now, I did have an extra unit of Flamer Scythes left over. It's 2,285. I don't want to give up my Vespids because I actually want to be able to win games. I think I'm going to keep Fusion Blades. Though a lot of this stuff goes into anti-tank. You know what? I'm actually going to have one of the Riptides go the Heavy Burst Cannon. Heavy Burst Cannon, 12 shots at 42 inches of Strength 6, AP 1, Damage 2. That'll factor in for a little bit of higher volume Damage 2 shooting. Give that sustained and lethal hits. That's pretty fucking great. And then you've got the Ion Accelerators on the other guys. I think I want 2 Cyclic Ion Rakers rather than Fusion Colliders because I can give them +1 Strength and AP. I don't think it's Fusion Blades. Am I fucking crazy? Get rid of the plasmas. I love all of these. I love all of those weapons so much, but god fucking damn it, I want my prototype weapons. All right, we're leaning into the meme. 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 All right, we are doing Ethereal. And with the points that we've got now, we can actually go a 2-man broadside minimum. Missile drones. I do want to go a unit of high-yield missile pods. Oh, actually, you know what? I need to solve my anti-tank first. Like, a lot of this stuff is going to be good. Single fusion collider, double ion accelerator, but we need, like, actual rails. So we're going to go that. And they're going to go twin SMS. I'm not leaning into massed SMS, so I do wonder if the plasma is better. Because that then is 24 inches, though... Now, you know what? They're going to be sitting on the backfield. Let's go that. All right, so Chassis, double missile, heavy rail, Seeker, twin SMS. And that's our 2-man. Now we're at 1,900 points. Now, the question becomes, do I want to put in a single broadside? Or do I want to drop a Pathfinder squad and go another 2-man broadside? I don't think I want that, genuinely. I think I want Shadow Sun. Now, reason for this. Let me cook. Shadow Sun can work with an Ethereal. This detachment is extremely CP hungry. With how poorly Tau win rate is at the moment, do you think we'll finally see some points cuts? Because now we'll get rules changes instead of getting drive-by nerfs from other OP stuff. Mont'ka? What's a Mont'ka? What? Did you have a stroke? All right. So, okay. We're going to keep going with the list after this. Everybody, lock in because this is going to be a rant. Fucking lock in. Just going to put this off to the side just so I can use my hands just in case. GW, if you ever watch any of my stuff, this is what Tau needs, unequivocally. If you don't do this, Tau's going to stay in the same place. If you give us points cuts, nothing will change. Nothing. We do not need points cuts. Points cuts are not our problem. Like, and obviously, Bill, this isn't directed at you. This is more that just like, this is GW's solution for a lot of stuff. Like, all Tau has seen is points cuts, whereas other armies, they're more than willing to fully rewrite rules. We need, if Tau is going to be in a healthy place in the meta, we need rules changes. The downside from our army rule must be removed. Must. The reasoning is that every other army gets to be viable with their units without having to expose 2 for every 1. We have to build out at least a quarter of our list as guiding units. Now, yes, they can function as scorers and all that sort of stuff, but a lot of good scorers can't guide, like Kroot, like Vespid. If they could guide, it alleviates the entire problem. You could make a 10-man Vespid unit, something that people actually want to take, if the drone that gives them the ignore cover also gives them the for the greater good keyword. Like, split fire penalty kills multiple units within the book that would otherwise be really, really good. And I'm talking about competitive play here. If you're playing as a casual, play whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about the tournament data that we're seeing. Split fire penalty also makes it so that your already inefficient package of guider guided, you're exposing 2 units for one of your opponent. You then also can't mitigate that by splitting fire effectively. Why does Space Marines automatically get to hit on 3s and split fire at whoever the fuck they want? Like, I get that there has to be restrictions because Tau has excellent volume of fire. We have excellent volume of fire. Anybody who says we don't have good shooting doesn't know what they're talking about or they're being disingenuous. We have excellent shooting that is hindered by the rules that allow us to get keywords that other people just have like baked into their data sheets. My Dark Reapers on Eldari, they can shoot each gun at whoever the fuck they want and they have ignore cover. And if they're in the right detachment, they get rerolls 1 to hit and wound. That unit was a fucking monster. I couldn't believe the shit I was doing to people when I was playing Eldari with that one fucking unit. And I could take him in 5-mans and just run him around the place and do a bunch of like mass damage 3 shooting, ignoring cover. We don't have lethal sustained. We don't have devastating wounds with anti. We don't have any of that sort of stuff because whoever wrote our book fucked up. And the 2 people that have been doing our Grotmus detachment and Borkan are trying to undo that damage. But that the damage fully won't be undone until some of that stuff gets removed or reworked. And I'm not saying that Tau can't work. And I really, really despise whenever somebody's like, oh, well, X player or myself is doing well, so therefore Tau doesn't need. No, Tau has a 42% win rate for a reason. You don't just look at the people that could take a flaming bag of shit, put it on a table and still win a game. You look at the people that are engaging with the game, engaging with the army at the low level, the mid level, the high level, whatever the case may be, and Tau is not playing the same game as everybody else around them. You are strictly not. You are a paper army, like ask any Eldari player what it feels like to play something which is so movement dependent, and if you make any positioning mistakes, your shit just dies. You are not Dark Angels, you are not Necrons, you are not Grey Knights, you don't have staying power. Your shit just dies, which is kind of why we're building out like a big suits list with 2-up armor saves and whatever else, but neither here nor there. I've got points because I forgot I had a fine enough unit in there. We'll deal with that in a second. If we don't get fundamental rules changes, then we're going to have some problems. Mont'ka and Cao Yon, I don't think they're going to remove the turn restriction on their stuff because Cao Yon having sustained hits 1 and sustained hits 2 for the entire game will be fucking busted. We saw that with Mordaka. Mont'ka, I think, could have assault for the entire game. And for the first 3 turns, you've got lethal hits when you guide it. I think that's fine. Though I think lethal hits when you guided could be an all game thing because like fucking Thousand Suns have devastating wounds for the entire goddamn game just for no goddamn reason. And it works. It works. You can adjust points as needed to then factor in for the rules changes and where it might shift the power. At the moment, we have some of the cheapest shit in the game. I was startled the first time I put all of my Eldari into an army box and how much spare room I had. I can fit them in a tiny little fucking tray. Just one little tray I walked around a tournament with, when normally I'm hauling around this massive fucking case. The thing that Cao Yon and Mont'ka need is the turn restrictions removed from their stratagems. Do that, and it alleviates so many of the woes. It alleviates so many of the woes. Since Tau just die, why don't you value experimental survivability buffs? What? Dude, did you watch any of the streams when I was talking about Prototype Carter? That is the biggest selling point that I put forward. I think I might have actually been the first person to point out that those survivability buffs are something that Tau desperately needs and changes the dynamic of how Tau approaches the game. That's why I've been saying that whoever wrote the prototype Carter detachment knew what the fuck they were doing. And they are trying to undo damage from core rules mistakes that were done when our codex was written. And I would argue when our index was written. Because I think the index set the tone that they hadn't done any fundamental rewrites by the time the Tau Codex came out. Then I think with other armies, they've realized, okay, Eldari's coming out. Fate Dice doesn't work. Let's fucking rewrite the shit out of that. Sisters, they've been more than willing to like completely rein in their army rule. But yeah, no, dude, I have never said that experimental survivability buffs aren't valued. I don't know where that's coming from. That's super out of left field. And if anybody's saying that I don't, pop in occasionally. It's fine. Dread, if I look like this is me pent up from a rant, that wasn't actually anything like bad directed at you. But I have had, and this is another thing that I have had some like misinformation going around within like Tau community and that sort of stuff. And that shit pisses me off. That shit pisses me off so much where like apparently I have been quoted saying stuff that I've never fucking played. Like, oh, sorry, I've never said. And I'm sitting there like, what? Is there another J running around with my face saying this stuff? I even went back and tried to look for shit like that and couldn't find it. And it just like, so yeah, when you said that, I'm like, has somebody been going around saying that I don't like prototype Carter? Yeah, anyway. So none of that was directed at you, and I'm in rant mode, so my tone won't be what it's supposed to be. But Tau fundamentally needs rule changes, and if all we get is points cuts, we're going to be in the same spot. We're going to be in the exact same spot. You're just going to have more shit to notice all of the problems with. And this is coming from somebody who genuinely loves Tau more than anything in the world. If Tau are in a good spot, I don't feel like playing other armies. It took 2 years for me to burn out on Tau in 10th and be like, all right, I need something different. I can't keep playing the same stuff and noticing all of the problems that other armies don't struggle with. And what a breath of fresh air it was playing Wolves and playing Eldari and playing Sisters and even learning Necrons so I could coach Phoenix. I'm like, I can see all of the like big value stuff that these guys have got, and I'm not having to jump through ridiculous hoops just to play the game. This is so refreshing. So believe me when I say anybody who's watching this that doesn't know me or you're joining us for the stream for the first or second time or whatever else, all of this stuff I don't say from a position of hate. I say this stuff from a position of love and a want for my army to be in a spot where if you lose a game, it's because you misplayed, not because you and your opponent are playing entirely different games and you're playing 5D chess while they're playing checkers. And then, like, don't get me wrong, there are going to be some armies that are strictly easier than others. Like, Oxcad is inarguably a more complex detachment, but within that complexity lies an incredibly high skill ceiling, which is the same as, like, playing Tau. Tau is not the same as playing Space Marines. There is more difficulty to playing a paper-thin army that moves quick, hits hard, and it was the same as Eldari. That's why I had such an easy time swapping onto Eldari, because I was already playing that sort of a game. But that stuff should be in play style differences, in data sheets and whatever, not in rules which actively punish one army and do not exist anywhere else in the game. That, in my opinion, is bad design and needs to be reverted. So if GW, if you watch any of my shit, if you watch any of my shit ever, and like, I kind of think you do, because this suggestion for changing the ghost skills you implemented, and they're fucking great. When Breaches and Devilfish were in a terrible spot, you seemingly implemented exactly what I'd been talking about, and Breaches and Devilfish became like the fucking GOAT for all time. We need rules changes to make it so that people can win or lose on their own merits, rather than making it that like the top 1% perform and everybody else plays a very, very different game. Genuinely, I don't think points cuts are the answer. I think the points cuts would be a massive misstep. Not to say that they're not welcome, but I don't like band-aiding something. I like to find what the problem is and remove that problem so band-aids aren't needed. You know what I mean? Having more bodies for less points has been working well for me recently. Compensates for other OP armies I've experienced, except Necrons. Well, like, that's the thing, Prometheus. Less points aren't inherently a bad thing. What I'm talking about isn't that it wouldn't alleviate problems or it wouldn't help. What I'm talking about is that it's not the issue. Like, and we had this conversation, and anybody who joins me for streams regularly, you'll know that we sort of spoke about, like, go and look at the video of GW Please Fix Tau. Genuinely, if anybody's interested in this, go and listen to the fucking hard cooking that I did within that video on all the things that we could fix. And I don't like suggestions for our army rule that are, have this unit ignore the downside, have blah do this. The downside just needs to go away. I don't want to band-aid over a bad rule that doesn't make sense to be in there. Imagine how much more a Storm Surge becomes viable if it doesn't take a split fire penalty. It's not going to immediately take over the fucking meta because, like, having one big thing allows somebody to pour all of their fire, all of their charging and fighting and whatever, and it dies like a bitch as soon as somebody is able to get, like, volume of good shooting against it. It's a massive points commitment. You have to do it with a game plan. It doesn't immediately take over, but look at the spread of guns on that platform and tell me that platform doesn't scream to be able to shoot at a bunch of different units and get its value back over the course of a shooting phase. No points drop. We are hoardy enough. Absolutely, Red. And this is another thing that I want to point out. If all we do is get points cuts, you then start putting financial pressure on players that are getting into Tau or don't own everything. And that is a problem as well. You shouldn't make it so if somebody wants to play their army, like, they could own exactly what they need for a 2,000 point list. They're happy and they just want their rules to be a little bit better. And then you say to them, all right, you need to go and buy another 200 points of Tau. They should be buying things because they want to, because they love the models or they want to play something different within the game. It shouldn't be, this is a requirement for you to field a 2,000 point list. Rules changes are what we need for that. Don't band-aid. Don't ever accept a band-aiding of problems within the army. You can still, and this was the most disingenuous argument that I saw when I put out that Fix Tau video. People being like, well, obviously you don't love Tau. Like, if you don't love the faction, then just go away. Loving something and seeing a problem and wanting to improve it, in my opinion, are interlocked. Somebody who doesn't love something doesn't give a shit if it gets better or worse. You should, if you love this faction, want it to be in the best place that it can be. You should. It should be your fucking moral obligation. If you love your faction or whatever else, you should want to have it in the best place that it can be. If anyone disagrees, fucking at me, but I don't think anybody will be able to. Quite simply, we're still paying the cost of the fact that our index was written poorly by someone that clearly didn't play Tau and actually know the faction. Rack, I 100% agree. I think that some significant damage was done with the initial writing of the index and they didn't pivot quickly enough. I think, given what we've seen with a number of armies that came out, because GW have been fucking nailing it lately. Like, anybody who watches me a lot knows that I'm the first to be critical of shitty or stupid things that they do. But they have been fucking nailing it. Grotmus was an enormous win, and anybody who says otherwise is a fucking whiny little prick. Grotmus was a massive gift to their player base. The detachments came out afterwards. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to give Custodes one. They didn't have to give us Borkan. They didn't have to do shit. They could have collected their money by doing absolutely nothing, but they have been fucking nailing it, and they are well written. Eldari got an army rule rewrite that is genuinely fucking awesome. I think that if today's GW wrote our index or our codex, if they could do it again, I think they would actually do this shit. I don't know what's happening on the back end that's stopping them from changing our rules at the moment that they might want to. I have to believe that it's part of a bigger plan. That there is something that they are cooking in the background that they are just not ready to show yet. I don't know what it is, but I'm optimistic. I just really hope that I am not disappointed with the result when it's just some point cuts off a couple of units and then that's it. We have had for like the last 4 data slates, Tau Empire, none. When other armies have gotten pages and pages of changes, whether they be nerfs or buffs, doesn't matter. And now we're seeing the fallout from that, where Tau was really good when everything was vehicles, because we have some of the best anti-tank shooting in the fucking game. When it's MSU and everybody's running 1 billion units like we were, we don't hold up. We don't hold up because the rules don't support it. You are not playing the same game as your opponent. I think in next they still had the fear from 9th of Tau tabling people turn 2, making the game unfun for people. So as a trade, Tau aren't allowed to be fun. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think that 9th, the strength that Tau had throughout that entire sort of rule set from getting their codex, I think it did some damage. I genuinely believe that the Tau index was problematic because of mismanagement. And maybe they were a little bit conservative. Maybe they were and sometimes you could just have people that have an idea and it turns out to be bad. And that's not that shouldn't be like a condemnation of them. Sometimes humans just have ideas and it doesn't pan out. There are plenty of things anybody in chat that is not fucked up in their life and has something that haunts them at night with a mistake that they're embarrassed of, fucking raise your hand so we can all call you a liar. You know, that could also be a very, very real thing where they might not even still be an employee of the company. They might not even still exist in GW's architecture and they don't want to do anything unnecessarily. Tung Morris, thank you for the YouTube sub. So, yeah. How'd you get that custom background for your new recruit? How did I do it? It was under menu, options, appearance, and then apply themes. I think, where did I put, actually, was it when I went home? I think it asked me what I wanted for my background. Where did I fucking see it? Or is it under profile? No. If anybody knows, let me know, because it had a bunch of different themes that you can pick between. And then I just picked this one and it was like the spaceship one or whatever. There was nothing special I did. It's built into in a new recruit. I always hated having to negotiate the army rule. It wasn't intuitive. 100%. You should not need 3 paragraphs and a diagram for an army rule. No fucking way in hell. Losing command of long strike and AP1 on pulse rifles was criminal. I can't disagree with that. I did love long strike. I really did. And in 9th, I was playing 4 hammerheads before it was cool. I actually think I pioneered that. And it started making its way into 1 billion lists. 4 hammerheads with ignore invulns was just... I can't tell you the number of fucking tournaments that I won off the back of that. And losing long strike and then only ever being able to field 3 hammerheads... I think criminal is the right word. Though I do want to say, for everybody who's a fucking doomer over losing some stuff, right now, and for the last couple of years, GW has been completely redoing all of their Forge World architecture in terms of production and whatever else. And they're actually being the fucking good guys, because the old method of production, aside from being antiquated and being low quality, was also a massive issue in terms of environmental impact. And one of the major things that they wanted to do was get higher quality sculpts and prints and whatever else without fucking up the planet continually. And that, I think, was a part of the fucking Paris Accords or whatever they are, because the UK committed heavily to that. And GW were like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So we have lost that, but I have a sneaking suspicion we are going to have reintroductions of new sculpts, and we're going to get a lot of our stuff back or get brand new stuff, which is even cooler. So I'm not on the Doomer train, just because, again, GW have been nailing it, so they've earned some goodwill from me. They have earned the benefit of the doubt that they are going to try and cook something fucking awesome, and I'm going to benefit from that. If they fuck that up, I'll be the first person to stand there and point at them and go, dude, what the fuck? Go and have a look on my YouTube channel. I put out a video entitled, Your Website Sucks, Bro. It had GW on the front of it. When their first website came out, it was just fucking shit. They fixed it. All good, whatever. But, yeah. Rebuild the Riptide's ability. I speak about that in the video. Again, guys, if you're interested in this, I went on a massive fucking talk about what I would do to fix Tau. So go and watch that stream. It's on YouTube right now. Just look up GW Please Fix Tau. It's actually let me bring up my YouTube and I'll show you the thumbnail and what it's called or whatever, so you can have a look at it. Because like I don't want to tread the same ground when there's content out there that you guys can go and watch. So studio, content, it was a live stream. Yeah, this is how I'd fixed out. Wait, let me open that in YouTube. Not going to autoplay it because that'll just fuck everybody up. But this is how I would fix Tau. Currently at 2,000 views, which for a live stream is kind of insane. Like live streams normally don't get that sort of viewership because people don't want to watch a 3-hour fucking video. But like one of the first things that I talk about is, here we go. So like I've got Riptide fixes up there. Window, so it's a good viewing experience for all of you. Now can I grab the corner? Can you speaking, that has been some. Yeah, anyway, we get into it super quick. But so this is how I'd fix Tau, the video you're looking for if you want to watch that stuff after this stream ends. Don't fucking go anywhere until this stream ends. You sit down. Fucking sit down. Riptide needs to go up at its points cost. I hard agree with that. It should not be 190. 190 is a mistake. Can't really cut it below a ghost kill. Also 100% true. So I say ghost kills? Fucking oath. Options, appearance, apply theme and choose one. Jay has a starship theme. Thank you, Sarah. You are fucking wonderful. Goodbye, leaving to watch that video. Beal, I will fucking end you. I will end you and stare into your eyes while I jerk you off as the light leaves your eyes. I will say, for all the shit I give Chad, I do love watching him cook no matter the army. Nobody cooks better than me. But which, by the way, I hope everybody enjoys the thumbnail. I was actually so fucking proud of that. I'm going to use that for all of our cooking streams. It just like, for any of the Twitchers that don't get to see a thumbnail, let me bring up Canva. I'll show you my shit. I'll show you my shit. This is the joy that they got to look at. Look at that fucking thumbnail. I'm so proud of that. Cooking with Jay. Did everybody notice the little storm surge down in the bottom left? Did everybody see my little boy, my Reptar? Reptar, which I haven't been able to put in a list for fucking forever. GW, what the fuck? Anyway. I'm upset. I'm compromised. Let's finish off the list. Let's finish off the big suits list. That's my rant done about balance. So actually, Beal, because everybody, announcement, Beal is going to be my editor. I'm going to give you access to the Twitch. If you want to download the VOD and cut that out and put it up as a YouTube video, that would be fucking awesome. I think that rant would be really, really good to chuck up there. There's a few other things from my Twitch stuff that I want to do as like clips and rants and shit, but yeah. Love that my boy Hammerhead is on the spatula. I did enjoy that. Can you imagine a Riptide commander? I can. And that might be a world that we live in. One day. All right. Played a Storm Surge the other week. It one-tapped a land raider turn 1, never died, and still didn't kill its points back. Yeah, it never will. Your opponent has to be so fucking brain dead to let a Storm Surge get its points back because it can't split fire and kill stuff. And I'm going to point this out. The Tiger Shark is fantastic because it has AP on all of its guns. The Storm Surge has AP 0 for no fucking reason. It's a fucking Lord of War. Like, why doesn't it have armor penetration on big-ass fucking missiles? Anyway. All right, is everybody ready for us to roast Sarah's list? All right, let's, I'll go back to this in a sec. Can I just drag this in? Okay, let's just go on in there. Let's go Battle Scribe because that's where my rosters are. Our board states, Battle Scribe import. That's all my emotes. You're welcome, Twitchers. Rosters, and it's under O for some reason. All right, let's roast Sarah's list. All right, opening up, it's 1975 points. What the fuck is wrong with you that it's 1975 points? Like, this is just the... By the way, everybody, everything that I'm about to do is tongue-in-cheek, me roasting and being mean on purpose. Nobody take any of this seriously. This is haha funny. This is not Jay is actually showing his true colors and being a dickhead. All right, with that out of the way, what the fuck is wrong with Tau players? They can't count. 1975, you got 25 points left over. Actually, it would have been much funnier if I had have said 35 just there and fucked up the thing because Tau players can't count. But anyway, Farsight, of course you do. Look at the Wii putting Farsight in. I got some Gundams. Single Fireblade, just do it on his own. Just didn't have another Fireblade. Couldn't fit another Fireblade in. That's fine. Fusion blades, which by the way aren't melee. Fucking nerd. Thermoneutronic projector, by the way, isn't melee like it was in 9th. You fucking nerd. Kroot Trail Shaper, I don't think they've ever shaped a trail. I'll be honest. Single Breacher Team, Farstalkers, Pathfinders, Triple Stealth Suits, Double Vespid, Fine Knives with missiles, Star Scythes with flamers, Sun Forgers, triple Ghost Keel, and a single Devilfish. You fucking meta chasing bitch. Oh, I'm going to put in like Pathfinders and Stealth Suits and Vespid because they're really good. Oh, I'm just going to net list off people on the internet. Oh, I'm going to run Fine Knives with missile pods because they're really good. Oh, I saw this like really cute like cyclopic Australian guy that was running Fine Knives. Oh, I'm going to do that. Putting gun and marker on your Shazway instead of your Shazray. What is wrong with you? The Shazray gets it. Also, and this is unironic. I want to roast you for this, but you have marker drones on your Shazways rather than gun drones. Once you've got a marker drone on the unit, you don't need any more. You fucking idiot! God, you Tau players piss me off. And we got Fusion Colliders and Fusion Blasters. Oh, I want to run a bunch of fusions because my range is longer. All right, that is a Shadow Sun's feat out of 10. If you would like to have your list roasted and give me some other reason to scream at people, then I guess if you remember the Discord, chuck it in. I really should put up a Roast My List channel in Discord. I think I want to do that. I don't know if that was any entertaining to watch, but anyway. You just got to give them like a bloody Rogal Dawn Commanders for whatever reason. I actually think Riptide Commanders are not out of the realm of possibility. Is it Borkan? It is Borkan. I just got back from an ad break and now Jay sounds like he sucked off a helium balloon. Look, I am a little bit like Alan Richardson, not in terms of being a fucking monstrous giant, but my voice can go surprisingly high when I need it to. I actually could do impressions of Thad Castle if I wanted to. One who bloody told me to. For fuck's sake, I quickly done. I know I got you. Jay, you're suspiciously good at pretending to be a total asshole. I am really good at pretending to be an asshole. When I'm pretending to be an asshole, it just flows naturally. I don't know where it comes from. There's definitely not an inborn hate of everything around me that fuels my ability to, look down and piss on all the people around me. But anyway, let's fix up my Borkan list and not talk any more about that because I was totally joking. All right, I have space for a crisis unit and for a commander. Now, I don't have enough for Sun Forges, so I think the Fusion Blades is off the table. Though, I could actually do Fusion Blades with full rerolls to hit because they're strength 12. They're wounding quite well. If you use stealth suits, you're rerolling ones anyway, so you're only failing on 2s. Do I go a commander with Fusion Blades or, oh my god. Okay, chat. I need you to let me cook. Right now. How does everybody feel about solo commanders? Once upon a time, we were doing it through 10th when we could spam cyclics. How does everybody feel about solo commanders? Deep striking in and fucking people up. No, you lost kitchen privileges? You're not my fucking dad! I mean, my dad... Who is my dad? Anyway, it's weird that I kind of wanted to bring Mally in here because there was a You're Not My Dad reference. Still trying to figure out if it's part of the bit or a weird bug. You know what? I don't care what any of you say. I am actually going to go... Now, do we want Cold Stars? They're more expensive. And I think it's only when they're leading that they get their rule abilities. Touch the following units while this model's leading a unit. Models in that unit have move of 12 and range. So he doesn't have assault, but he has 12 base inch move. I think I actually do like that. 12 inches comes up more than you would think, tee-hee. So it's definitely going to be a cyclic on every single one. So I'm just going to copy him. And we're at 1960. That'll maybe leave me enough room for points for enhancements. Oh, no, that's only going to be one. So I think it has to be a Cold Star and a Enforcer. 95 and 80. So if you go Fusion Blades, that's actually like a pop a tank angle. And then if you go, I might want to go fucking Thermoneutronic on him. On this guy, do I want to go the Fusion Blades or do I just want to go the Plasma Accelerator? So like the things that we're choosing between here, Plasma Accelerator is Strength 10, 2 attacks, AP 4, damage 4. Flat 4 damage is pretty good, but there is an argument that the Cold Star is going to be able to rapid ingress, move up to something, and then get Melta 4 and do minimum of fucking 5 damage on each of the shots. So that is an argument for it, but it's a difference of 15 points. Or I could just go the Supernova for volume. I think I want them on volume. Yeah. So we're going cyclic. We're going an air-bursting fragmentation projector. Supernova, cyclic. We're going to go double shield, so they're harder to kill. And then we're going to go... So we've got a Supernova, we've got a cyclic. What else would we want? I think maybe a high-output burst cannon. Because then we've just got a shitload of volume to clear out, like, backfields or whatever. Though, do I want higher quality shooting than that? Do I want just 2 missile pods? Because that is still, that's a lot of damage to shooting. I think I like that. And then the Commander and Enforcer armor, Thermoneutronic, support systems. He's not going to have an air bursting. He's going to have a Flamer and then go Thermoneutronic. We're going to have a Cyclic. And then I think I just do the same. I think I just put them with a shitload of damage too. Right? Right? But then I can use a Cold Star because, yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get rid of Supernova and let's go Thermo. Let's get rid of you. Let's go you. Let's go you. And that is our Cold Star built out. And that is just a shitload of damage too. It's 1995. Make you our Warlord. What are we thinking, chat? Pretending to be an asshole comes with the Aussie racial bonus. That's true. That's true. Long time ago, solo commanders. May as well bring it back. Can only cook in an apron. Oh my God, I do need an apron for these streams. Oh my God, I do need it. Hey, Charlie. Chelsea! Well, can you hear me? Okay, you know, I'll ask you after the stream. It's fine. It's fine. It was going to be for a bit. Oh, do I have any aprons anywhere? Like cooking apron? I feel like you got me a joke one a while ago. You know what I need to get? I need to get you to do me up like a custom Tau Empire apron. That'd be cool. I'm going to wear one of those for each of these streams. I know, right? I came up with it myself without chat's help. Yeah, I know I did. All right, so I think this is our big suits Borkan list. 2 solo commanders running Thermoneutronic and Supernova. Everything at damage 2 and Ethereal. Pathfinder Team. Now, I've got recon drones on both of them. I actually, you know what? I do probably want them infiltrating. The -2 to charge can come up, but I don't think it's like super relevant. I think they gain EV at high play, where the difference between an opponent being able to zone out 350 and a 60 and having to zone out a single 60 is actually relevant. But they're strictly worse than taking them with a unit unless you're getting actual specific benefit from the smaller unit size. I don't miss cyclic spam. I do. It was a stupid time for a stupid age. I miss my cyclics. If I could go back to having 6 crisis suits, all with cyclics, with 3 of them each, I would be a happy, happy man. I just, okay, chat. Do you know what it's like to sit on the other side of a table from somebody, and when you tell them the shooting that you're about to do to them and they resolve all of their saves and they realize just how much you killed, how watching the light leave their eyes and their worldview change to be one of despair and hatred? Do you know how much I fucking love that? And then throw on top of that there's a bunch of people that just hate Tau for no fucking reason, and they make it your business that they hate Tau. Do you know what it's like doing that to somebody like that and just reinforcing that they should hate your army because they're such a shitter that they left a unit out in the open that they're like, oh, this is really tanky, you can't kill this. And I'm like, are you sure? They're like, yeah, you can't kill this. And I'm like, are you sure? And then I shoot at it and then I kill it, overkill it by like 20 wounds. They're like, fucking Tau, fucking wreck. Oh, and you're just sitting there and like, yep, well, you can cry all you want, but that's 20 points for this turn for me, and that's probably going to be 100. Do you know what that's like? There's no feeling of superiority better. I miss cyclics. Anyway, double Pathfinder, triple Stealth Suit, double Vespid. We have a single 2-man broadside with rails. We have triple Ghost Kill, 2 of them with Cyclic Ion Rakers, 1 of them with a Fusion Collider just to add a little bit of anti-tank. And then Triptide, Heavy Burst Cannon on 1, double Ion Accelerator on the other. We have so many fucking 2-up armor saves. Look at all these 2-up armor saves. Invulns on the Riptides, blank 2 on the Ghost Kills, broadsides. Now, this is the other thing that I want to run missile sides in Borkan because they can actually mitigate the mortal wounds from hazardous, and you can have a big-ass fucking unit shooting a bunch of shots and getting sustained and lethal hits. It is just... Had to switch sites to escape Helium J? Wait, was Twitch actually making me sound like I'm on Helium? What? It is nice to see the toxic casual further radicalized hate Tau. Look, when inevitably World War III breaks out, I'm going to assume that in part there are a few people that are taking part in it so that they can use the chaos and confusion to go out and try and kill Tau players because they hate us that fucking much. I have to assume it's going to happen. Yeah, bugged out after an ad break. Oh, I thought you were talking about me going like super high pitch when I was fucking screaming at the thing. 40-inch move Cold Star Commander. Wait, no, sorry, it was 60. Oh my God, yeah. Can you imagine our Cold Stars being able to go 60 inches again? Oh, what a world we would live in. Oh my God. Oh. Sarah, I see your points about it being dumb and destroying the point of bringing any other weapon and made it so restricting for all Tau players. But can I interest you in almost 100 hits and activation? That sound all right? You reckon we could get you over to the dark side with that? We have cookies and 100 hits. Oh. Anyway, so this is a big suit list that I actually think I want to try. I am going to chuck this in the chat for everybody. I think the short form should let me just post it. Nope. YouTube absolutely doesn't like that. Twitch is probably the same. It lets me get up to stealth. So just after Pathfinders. That's fine. You know what? You can look at it. You can look at it and you can take it. I already did the Mont'ka one in the description. But each of these 2 lists, I'm going to try and play them in Slay the Streamer. So, if you, yes you, dear viewer, right there, sitting there, holding your testicles right now, having a bit of a tug, or holding something else if you don't have testicles, don't let me tell you what you've got down there. If you would like to be selected to play against me in Slay the Streamer and try and slay me, head to the links in the description of the YouTube video, YouTube membership, or Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can support me, make this into my full-time dream, and be selected to play against me and slay the streamer. Make sure you keep an eye on the channel. If you haven't liked and followed and whatever the Twitch channel, that is where I primarily do all this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to keep posting to YouTube because it fucks up with the algorithm or whatever. But Slay the Streamer is genuinely the most fun I have ever had playing 40k. And I can't wait to get these shortened, cut up videos out for you guys so you can see that firsthand. But it is like, I came off both of those streams feeling better about myself than I think I have ever felt after any stream. It was so much fucking fun. So make sure you join us and hit follow, or don't. I'm not your dad. Again, thank you to all of my patrons who make all of my videos possible if you would like to join them. And again, help me turn this into my dream of being a full-time 40k content creator. Then the best way to do that is YouTube membership or Patreon. And thank you to R&R Hobbies who have hooked up me and the Pantheon with a bunch of awesome stuff. There is a link in the description. You can get 26% off GW pricing through them. Absolutely so stoked with where the channel is at the moment. I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up to support the stream, and I hope that you're looking forward to more of these because we are going to be doing more of them. Now, just if anybody is here for the 40k stuff, that's pretty much the end of it. Before I end the stream, a little bit of a personal update for everybody who cares about that stuff. That sounded shitty. It sounded better in my head. That's just more like, you know, people are here for content. Not everybody's interested in the actual creator. That's absolutely fine. That's the nature of doing stuff on the internet. So I have had, a lot of people will know that I have been fighting a workplace abuse and unfair dismissal thing for, it's been over a year now. I recently got some news that while I was getting better before, dropped me quite heavily back into a decent amount of depression and anxiety. I've started having what feels like fucking heart attacks again. And so if there are any days that, you know, I don't show up for stream or I'm not really active on Discord or whatever, I just want everybody to know it's not about you. There are some times where, like, when I'm on camera, I can compartmentalize pretty okay, and a lot of the time I'm having fun. But there's almost every single stream I will crash afterwards, and sometimes thinking about getting on camera is just, like, untenable. It's just, like, this work has fucked me up pretty significantly. And it's something that, you know, I'm working on and I'm trying to deal with. But, you know, the streams won't be as regular as I would like them to be in a perfect world. And we're still fighting that. And, you know, the impairment that I'm feeling may impact that a little bit. But that's not going to be the case forever. I just don't have a timeline on when things are going to, I don't know, return to any sort of normalcy. But that said, I genuinely do enjoy spending time with every single person who shows up for the stream and engages with me. And, you know, not plugging here, but like my patrons giving me some measure of financial stability, even though it's not anywhere close to replacing my main income yet. It's just, it's a really nice feeling having people that show up for every stream or, you know, want to stay in the Patreon or YouTube membership, even if I might not be in a place to post all that often. And yeah, so just wanted to say I appreciate every single one of you. I don't know what the road ahead looks like. There's a lot of anxiety and stress and pain that's going on, but yeah. I appreciate all of you. So yeah, I'm going to leave you there. I know I left it on a bit of a sad note, but yeah. Loopy, if you want a hand setting up TTS, hit me up. I do that for anybody that's in our Discord or whatever. You are in the Discord, aren't you, Loopy? I think I jumped in. No, I jumped in a call with you. Yeah. No, you are. Yeah, hit me up. More than happy to give you a hand setting up TTS. I've done that for a couple of people that I've been coaching. Note for everybody, I am reopening my coaching. Chelly and I have found a decent rhythm with Mally. And even though, like I said, I'm feeling a bit fucked up at the moment. Coaching gives me a little bit of a warm and fuzzy. Like my personality type is that I like to be someone who helps people and is a go-to person for them. And I get a lot of reward out of teaching people. If you're anywhere inclined for that, I'm actually going to be running, when my detachment review comes out, I'm going to be opening up a 26% discount off my coaching services in line with what R&R is offering you for your Warhammer. There's no code for it, but I am matching what they're discounting GW stuff at their website off my coaching stuff as like a limited time thing. So if you're interested in it, coaching gets you access to the Discord as well. And once you're in, I don't remove people unless they act shitty. And I haven't had to yet because everybody's been great. So yeah. But I'll leave all of you there. Love you all. Be good to each other. Enjoy the meme lists. Or maybe even not a meme. Maybe 2-up armor Tau is going to take over the fucking meta. I don't know. We'll see. But it has been wonderful hanging out with all of you. I'll see you in the next one.